Alright, this is a 100% achievement report, after game report on Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. So, as, let's see, I have the complete movie, yep, complete artifact movie. As Metroidvania games go, this is one of my favorite. The weird mutation, and then it walks up onto land and it all smashes together and grows into this gigantic thing with tentacles. Roar! And then it swallows the planet and then spits out spores that all swallow up other planets. And then it goes patooey and it spits out spores that go and take over like other systems. Which you see, is it here? Yep, so it spits out a spore, and that spore goes out and takes over another system, the system that our hero lives in. Sitting here, minding my own business. Doing my thing, experimenting like Dr. Frankenstein. Went down the wrong way. Lands on the star and it turns it into a Dyson sphere, apparently. Is this the same thing? Is this just the star right here? Oh, no, it's not. Pew, pew, pew. So the hero summoned a piece of star energy. Used the star energy to empower his vehicle. And it says teleport to Shadow Planet, but it looked to me like he actually left, like he took the star energy from the star that had been taken over by whatever, the black spore, used it to power up his vehicle, and then took his vehicle and went to the star. That's kind of what it looked like to me. And then there's your star. Like you just completely cleared out the star. And as a result of clearing out the star, your planet is saved. That's what it looks like to me anyway. And then there's like all the concept art. Like that artwork was used, but it's not mechanical. Like it doesn't actually move. But you can see that thing right there. It's just fixed in place, and you can't get past it. And this drill is very definitely in the game. That's one of the bosses there, and this is another one of the bosses. This is in the game, very definitely. Got to blow open those pods and then drag over explosives and drop them in. Those are the explosives that you got to drag over. The ice area. That's one of the bosses also. This one is the easiest boss to defeat. It's not even remotely close to hard. Now this thing I didn't see, but it looks cool. And there were very similar things to this, but there weren't the little eyeball creatures on the crystals. The crystals were just there. These were all there. The lantern area, where you have to drag the lantern along. That's the mechanical, the clockwork world or mechanical world or whatever. Anyway, more of Tron World. So yeah, we'll just resume game. I mean, it's all the way at the end boss, but I can at least show you all the upgrades. So once you're fully upgraded, you have this little spiky UFO-looking thing here, flying saucer, and you can take 4 levels of damage. So there's, when you're all fully healed, you're the spiky thing. 1 level down from this, you have kind of scalloped armor around you. 1 level down from that, you have solid armor around you. 1 level down from that, you're unarmored, which you can tell you're at that level because you can actually see the windows. Let's go see if I can take a little bit of damage here to show you. So there you are, you have scalloped armor right here. And then 1 level down from this, there you go. So you have solid armor. You don't have that extra scalloping. And then once this solid armor goes, there, you can see all of the windows in the UFO. And then from here, you start taking damage, and like all of your plumbing and electrical and everything will be exposed, and your skin will go away. There. So you have like pipes and things like that all sticking out everywhere. But fully upgraded, I've got all of the, so I've got, whoop, that's not what I was going for. I've got the laser blaster there. Pew pew, fully upgraded, so it shoots 5 shots. The electrical thing that sends out pulse waves of electricity, which is good for AoE stuff or for powering up things that need to be powered. Which there are those. Claw for grabbing things. Grabbing things and moving them around. Mostly used to move rocks out of the way. You can also grab some enemies. Slam dunk them. Like Jordan, in his prime. The missile launcher. Let's see if I can... Oh yeah, I made the corner there. The missile launcher, some of the harder tricks are steering the missile through paths where you have to go around sharp corners and things like that, and not clip the corners or the missile will blow up. But you have to navigate this whole weird, crazy path in order to blow up the missile right at a trigger that will open a door for you. It's one of the harder things, but it may take you, 5 or 10 tries, but you'll get it. When I say hard, it's not really that hard. Directional shields, mostly just a gimmick. You're rarely ever going to use these. There's only one place where you absolutely must use these. And it's timed, by the way. You can see it getting thinner and thinner as I hold the trigger down, and it eventually will short out. And then totally useless. But let it charge back up, and then it's big again. There's only one place where you have to use this, and you use it to get through like water that's all acid. And so as you go down into the water, you have to have your shield on to clear out all the acid. Right as you go kersploosh. The gravity beam, tractor beam, mostly gimmicky. There are a lot of places where you need to use this to solve a puzzle, but it's not all that useful in combat. There are a few things that you use it for in combat, like little creatures that come after you, and you can use this to either pull them towards you or push them away. It's extremely useful in the mechanical world, because the mechanical boss, there are 2 anchors, and you can use the tractor beam to anchor yourself on something, because he moves you around a lot. He blows you all over the place with his wind, and it makes the fight a lot easier if you anchor yourself to one of the spots. Buzzsaw here. Useful for digging in a lot of places, but some places even the buzzsaw can't get. You have to actually use the claw and reach over and grab a rock and move it, and grab another rock and move it. But the buzzsaw is also pretty decent for combat. It does a lot of damage compared to a lot of the other stuff. It's more or less a one-hit kill if you can hit something with the buzzsaw. Scanner is really, it's mostly useful for filling out your map. So like things like this right here, if you scan something and you don't have the missile launcher, but you need the missile launcher in order to get through it, it'll add it to your map. Like you can see, I didn't scan that much because for the most part I could figure out what everything was and what I needed to use to get it. But like at the very beginning, I didn't understand how to get through that gate right there. I didn't even know a missile was a thing. I didn't remember that. So I scanned that. That added that to the map. But like you can see here in the frozen world, here I scanned nothing at all. It was just never necessary. I understood everything, what it all needed. I scanned one thing in here, which I needed the electrical charge thing, the Tesla coil, to activate, and then one thing here, one thing there. Basically the Tesla coil, that was my my nemesis. And the Tesla coil and the missile. Besides that, that's almost everything that I scanned. But yeah, if you don't know how to do something or whatever, you can go and scan, and it'll give you hints. It won't tell you exactly, but like this right here. So it's right there. It says, "Oh, it'll destroy me," but any of those things there, all of those things are useful against it. The one in red is the best against it, and then the big splash, the big red explosion there, means it will attack me. But so like I can use the Tesla coil against it. There, and the Tesla coil will eventually destroy them. But what's even better, bang, gone. The little blaster thing there is far more effective, as the scanner told us. Laser beam. This is timed. So it's a continuous beam right here, which when you're getting swarmed by tons and tons of little things that like just die instantly if they're hit with basically anything, beam's useful. You turn it on and you go, whoa, and you go like this and you can clear the screen, but when it overheats, it shuts down. Right there. And it shuts down, and then there's a timer where it has to cool down. So right here. And then right here it's overheated, and you have to wait, and then there it fires again. But yeah, it's comparatively low damage compared to the blaster, but it's continuous, and so you turn on the beam and you just circle it around, and you'll kill like dozens and dozens of the little tiny things that are swarming you. You'll kill a dozen of them on each sweep, clear the map. And back to the blaster. So, those are all your abilities. And then so you start off on the surface right here, and then you go down here to, like, I think this is called the organic world. I just think of it as plant world, because it's mostly plants and, like, some worms. Plants and worms. It's like underground world or something like that. No, because there's a lot of plants that are above ground, and the worms, I guess, are technically above ground. I don't know. They call it organic world. When you finish it, the achievement you get will be organic world completion. But it's plants and worms world. And then the second one is the water world, right here. Which this whole area right here in the middle, it's all currents, all really heavy currents that you can't fight. You just got to go with the currents, and you have to learn the direction that all the currents are going, because they're going in different directions, some clockwise, some counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, depending on where you are in the world. And you just have to learn which direction all the currents are going, and then you use your claw when you come to a junction. You use your claw to grab onto something at the junction to swing around, so that you don't just follow the current down and end up in a never-ending circuit. But again, it was fairly straightforward. Once you get the currents down, it's pretty straightforward. And fairly certain from there I went to the frozen world, and the frozen world, I cleared that in like an hour or two. It was just a matter of getting through everything. It just, like, there wasn't any part of this where I struggled or had to figure anything out. I think probably the single hardest part would have been right here. There's a gigantic crystal in the middle, and you have to power it using laser beams from 4 other crystals. And each of these 4 caverns has a kind of like this little heat vent looking thing, and you put a crystal in it. There's a bunch of crystals growing all over the caverns, yellow, green, and blue. And you have to put a crystal in this heat vent thing, and it'll activate whatever crystal you put in it and shoot out a laser. Now, there are a whole bunch of other holes all over the cavern, and the yellow and green and blue crystals all have different angled facets on them. And so when the laser beam shoots out, you have to install different crystals in those other holes in order to reflect that laser beam at a certain angle to another hole, and figure out how to orient which crystal, either yellow, green, or blue, and which direction, because if you put it in one way, it reflects at an angle, and if you put it in another way, it reflects at a different angle. So you have to play around with it a lot to figure out how to get the laser beams reflecting all the way, from all 4 of these other chambers, all onto a big crystal in the middle that shoots a laser beam down and opens up the path to the boss. But yeah, so that I guess would have been the hardest part of it, but it really wasn't even that hard. It was just a matter of testing all of the different angles and figuring out which ones work and which ones don't. Nothing was really resisting me. Nothing was pushing back against me. It was just a matter of time, just experimenting with all of them and figuring that out. And then from there, I went to the machine world, or the clock world. I don't know what you would call it. Probably it was called machine world, or mechanical world. It might have been called mechanical world. This one was fun. This one was super fun. I think this was my favorite one out of everything. All of these little circles that you see all over the map are not elevators, but they are wheels, I guess, for lack of a better term, where when you go into the wheel, it turns and it reorients the entire map. So you start off flying around like this, right, on the horizontal, and then it turns your orientation to the map so that instead of what you see now as, left being left and right being right and up being up and down being down, it turns you 90 degrees so that you're flying around this way and up is actually right, and down is left, and back is up, and forward is down. You could also say left is up and right is down. Which is important because there are places where you can't actually fit through. Like there's a place where you have to go up in order to get through a section, but you can't fit through if you're oriented this way. It's too thin. There's not enough space. So you have to go through one of those wheels to orient yourself this way so that you can actually fit through and go and do your stuff. And then you have to go back to the wheel and reorient yourself so that you can get back to the central area and install all the gears. But this was my favorite one. I think this was the part really that makes it the twisted, insanely twisted. I mean, not insanely twisted. That's the title of it, obviously. But this is the part that makes it the twisted Shadow Planet, because here with the whole map reorienting 90 degrees and then trying to read the map and figure out which direction you have to go, because you see something that you need to get to, you know where it is on the map, but trying to figure out which direction you're flying and which direction you're actually moving on the map when the orientations are completely different. It was a lot of fun. On the upper right there, that whole thing is a kind of an engine, and those gears are turning. You're looking at them edge on, and so those are rods, and then all of the vertical lines there are gears on the rods that are turning, and some of the gears have a hole on the left or right side, but the gear is turning, so you can fly through the hole into the gear from the left, and then it turns, and the hole now, instead of being on the top left, is on the bottom left. And so that's how you can actually get from section to section, and you have to navigate the entire thing, entering and exiting these gears on the top, on the bottom, left and right, as the entire machine is turning. That was a lot of fun. It's not just a run and gun in that way. There's a lot of puzzle solving to be done here, and they're reasonably simple puzzles. I mean, they're not going to take you 20 hours to figure out or anything like that. You're going to figure them out fairly easily, but nevertheless, there's some fun puzzles to solve. It's not just a run and gun, which I like. And then from there we go to Tron World. Tron World, I think they call it Electrical World, but seriously, you just look like you're in Tron, in one of the Tron movies. The original one, the new one, what is it, Tron Legacy, I think it's called. Either of the Tron worlds work. You literally look like you're just in Tron. And I think it's called the Electrical World. And the whole thing is dark, and you have a key that you drag along with you. You carry it with your claw, and the key is also a lantern. While you have the lantern with you, the shadow creatures, there are a bunch of tentacly shadow creatures that want to get you, but they won't go near the light. So you have to drag this key along. There are also creatures that are attracted to the light, and they will go and they'll try and grab the light and take it away. So every time you let go of the light and switch to guns or whatever to do whatever it is you need to do, one of these little kind of squid-like creatures will grab the light, the lantern, and start dragging it away and go flying away with it. Meanwhile, all the shadow tentacly creatures will come and they'll start attacking you, and so you're chasing after the squid thing, shooting it, trying to get it to back off so that you can grab the lantern and go. It was fun. The boss battle is one where you're definitely going to use the laser and sweep it around in a circle, because you're swarmed, not by anything dangerous, but you're swarmed by just insane amounts of things. Certainly more than you can count on the screen. There's just masses of them. It's like, pissing on an anthill and then watching them all swarm out. Just tons of them. But not a particularly difficult boss battle. It took me a couple of rounds to get down the rhythm and figure out where I need to go and what I need to do. But I mean, I still beat the entire game in a day. It wasn't that hard. I don't actually remember what this area looked like. But it was a segue, obviously, between the Frozen World and the organic world. But I don't remember if it looked mechanical. Like the layout of it reminds me of mechanical, but I don't actually remember what it was. And then after you've cleared all of these and beaten all of the bosses in all of those, then it awakes the boss here in the middle, the final boss, which is... That's, yeah. Let me through. So here's those rocks that you need to... Not that I needed to clear all those out, but whatever, I did. So then the final boss is right here. There are 3 phases to the final boss. I may or may not beat the final boss, but whatever, I'll just... You have to beat each of the 3 phases. So this phase here at the very beginning, it's really good to take your time, because this will set you up for success in later phases. Just take your time here. These things will drop little glowy balls, little glowy health balls. Which are super helpful later on. Not a lot of glowy balls dropping here. They're supposed to, anyway. Maybe I need to take some damage in order for them to drop. See if they drop more if I take more damage. Come get me. There you go. There we go. Give me some damage. Now maybe they'll drop some more. Oh, now they'll drop a lot. Oh, I don't want to die here, so... Oh, I died. Alright, so that was a little too much. But you want to set it up so that there are some glowy balls for you on the next level, because when you get to the next level, it's quite a bit harder. Here, let's switch to laser, maybe. Hey, buddy. Yeah. So the laser is weaker. Up all the glowy balls. At the same time, we don't want to die, so... There, so we get a whole bunch of these things. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. So we seed the level with all of these things. And then we'll go ahead and proceed on to the next level. There, now he pops open. Yay, we can shoot him. He's gonna blow us back. Make sure we're not too close. Yep, that's just default. You can't get any closer. Now you got to navigate these lasers. Now when the lasers disappear, just go ahead and whoop. Wait for that laser to disappear there. There we go. And then when you hit him, he'll shoot you back. And then they'll do a different pattern of lasers. But more or less the same thing. You keep on going and you wait for an opening, wait for the lasers to do their thing. And then he's gonna pop up himself, and then you'll just have to run around and fight this eyeball. You've got all these things, all these little these right here. Switch to the actual little gun here, and you just have to do an amount of damage to him. I don't know like how much damage you actually have to do, but this is the bullet storm level here, where you just it's like Raiden, like those old Raiden games where you just keep on pounding. He'll zoom around here, but again, you've seeded the area with all these little Healy light balls, so you're okay. Just don't panic. And there you go. Now he's done. And look, I'm at full health, and I still have a whole bunch of these little Healy balls out here. So we go down inside. We are in the heart of the beast. And from here, like, you can't actually do anything from right here. You just come down to the middle of the star and then wait. And if you just hover down here close to the bottom for long enough, you get this super uber crazy powerful, I don't know what this is, star power, and then it destroys everything. But that's all that happens. Like, you don't actually have to do anything. Once you defeat the final boss, you just go down close to the star, and then you get this. Hooray! And then this was the final cutscene that I showed you before, that I had unlocked. So that's the game end there. That's everything. But yeah, I have. When I say I use air quotes for the 100% achievements, because I don't actually have 100% of the Steam achievements, only because it's impossible to get 100% of the achievements without doing multiplayer. Can't do it. You have to do multiplayer because some of the achievements are multiplayer achievements. So yeah, I've got all the achievements for the single player game going through, but I don't know anybody else who plays this game who'd be willing to multiplayer with me. So there are achievements for Shadow Hunter and Lantern Run, those are both multiplayer versions of the game. So Shadow Hunter is you have a bomb and the bomb is ticking down and you have to fight your way through levels while dragging the bomb with you, and you have to find these charge up stations, which are just little glowing yellow balls, and you put the bomb inside there and it recharges the bomb's time so it doesn't blow up. And like there's no actual end to it. Your goal is just to get it as far as possible. And like one of the achievements is earn 500,000 points or something like that, which is it's impossible to do in a multiplayer game, single player. You can't do it. There just isn't enough firepower in the air to take everything down. You're just gonna die. And then Lantern Run is similar, but instead of a bomb, you have a lantern, like the lantern key that I was talking about for the Tron world, the electrical world. And there are monsters coming after you, and they're just slowly creeping from the left side of the screen, and you have to haul this lantern and fight things. That one's kind of lame because there are places where you've cleared everything out, you've destroyed all the enemies, and then you just have to sit there. Because there's like a timed event where the monster has to get a certain closeness to you before a part of the wall blows open, and then you can grab the lantern and continue running. And if you kill everything super early, super fast, you literally just have to sit there and wait and wait and wait until the game decides to blow the wall and let you through. I don't know, to me that's kind of lame. If I kill him super fast, I should be able to go through the wall super fast. But whatever. The programmers decided that that's the way it is, so that's the way it is. So those achievements I haven't gotten, and I'm never going to get them because I don't do a lot of multiplayering. I'm old and busted, and all of my contemporaries are also old and busted, and I guess they don't play games much. Or if they do, they don't play the types of games that I play. I don't know. Either way, I'm never going to get those achievements. But as far as the single player game, getting through it, I've unlocked everything that there is to unlock. I've earned every upgrade, defeated every boss, and all of that stuff. Unlocked the entire map. So in that respect, I've got 100% of achievements. But on my Steam account, it will not display as a perfect game. That being one that I got 100% achievements on. But as far as Metroidvania games go, I would say this is probably my single favorite Metroidvania game. There are other platformers that really aren't Metroidvania, like Inside was a platformer, certainly. Side-scrolling platformer. And it was a cool game, and it was a puzzle game, but it was not Metroidvania. There's never any shooting of any kind. There's never dodging or anything like that. You're never trying to avoid people coming at you. All you're doing is running to one side of the screen whenever people are chasing you. That's it. There's no ducking and dodging bullets or little glowy balls as they go across the screen or anything like that. And you can't ever stand and fight anybody. So it's not Metroidvania at all, but it is a side-scroller platformer. Let's see. Mark of the Ninja was also kind of platform-ish. Platformer-ish. There's a lot of jumping and a lot of trying to make it to platforms. There's no shooting. Certainly not that you can dodge. When they go bang, 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 it's the shooting is instant, and if they hit you, you're dead. That's it. So it's very much a stealth game. So in that way, it's also not really a Metroidvania game. So yeah, in that respect, this is definitely my favorite Metroidvania game. I think the only thing that even comes close would be Hollow Knight, and I haven't finished Hollow Knight yet. I did the first play video, and I haven't actually played it since then. Maybe that'll be the next one that I try to finish. But yeah, I would, for anybody who enjoys Metroidvania games, and to anybody who enjoys a creative world, not simply another button mashy jump from platform to platform and shoot glowy balls at other things like you have done in 100 other games before. There's plenty to look at in Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. The art style is pretty cool, and the puzzles, some of the puzzles are pretty clever. Some of them are very simple. Some of them are literally grab this block, drag it over, put it on this thing, and it opens the door. You almost scratch your head and wonder, why did they even put that in? Like, that's not even a puzzle. Why did they bother programming that into the game? But they did. And then you'll have the more difficult ones, like steering the missile, the guided missile, through a gigantic twisty turny maze. Yeah, those you're not going to get those on the first try. You'll have to practice a little bit. So yeah, if you like those sorts of games, definitely give Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet a try. It's got a lot to offer. I liked it. It's my favorite one. My favorite Metroidvania so far. So that's it for now. That's my after game report. Thanks for watching.